YouTube, my name is Jibanyan and welcome back to Can They Be DLC episode 16 of season 3, and this episode will be about Jibanyan, I think that's how you say it, probably wrong. And then before we get started, let's talk about the news, which there weren't any, basically, like we all expected. Nothing happened this week. Also, this video was delayed a day, mostly because of the delay that happened to the other video of the the predictions for 2020, and basically that's it. And work was a little bit of a stressful, so yeah. And I'm a little bit tired. I don't know why I'm a little bit tired right now. It's been my day off. Also, happy holidays to everyone. Christmas is 2 days from now. Basically, tomorrow's Christmas Eve. Day afterwards is obviously Christmas. I was just done now recording the Christmas special, which is basically going back to last year and doing a Christmas amiibo tournament, which this one I think was better than the last one, but still, hopefully you guys will enjoy it. It comes out tomorrow. It should be probably be done editing it, and will be done today, but uploaded tomorrow. But anyway, let's get on to the topic of this video, Jibanyan. Oh, before I get into the topic of Jibanyan, I just want to say, please people, if you're going to make a video regarding echoes for everyone, when you talk about certain characters, at least say something that doesn't make you like a goddamn stupid idiot. And by that I mean, there was a video I believe uploaded either last week or during this week or last week or in the past month at the very least, from Aaron Nitmar, I think I said his name, where he said, here's the thing, it's fine if you make mistakes and you don't know characters when talking about echoes. I did that when I did my echoes video way back last year before Smash Ultimate came out, of predicting Zack as an echo for Cloud. I didn't know who Zack was. I barely know who Zack is right now. I know from my understanding he's the original Buster Sword wielder that gives it to Cloud. I could be wrong on that. So I believe what I heard. And when I said Zack in my prediction video, it was like I heard some people say talk about Zack in discussion, so I just went with it. And it's fine if you make a prediction or say something that doesn't make much sense, like an echo for Robin being Soren, who was basically the tactician of Ike's games. Although he's not the best choice for Robin, myself and others would probably say Celica would be the best one. Maybe even a spoiler for Awakening, but then at that point you'll get 4 Awakening characters, with one of them legit just being a palette, not even a palette swap, being the same character. But you know, but what really grinded my gears is, like, again, it's like the thing for Link of make it a Link costume or a Link echo with Linkle, despite the fact they're not the same character, they play nothing alike, they don't even wield the same type of weapon. The same thing happened in Aaron Nitmar's video where he said the perfect Cloud echo for Shulk was Rex, because they both wield the Monado. Just because the games are called Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does not mean that they both wield the same goddamn sword. The Monado is in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but it's utilized by a different character, not Rex. Rex is his own individual character that has its own individual goddamn moveset and gimmick potential. Just because you don't play the game does not mean you don't need to know stuff. If you're going to say something, at the very least look at what the fan base is saying. I did that, and if a small YouTube channel can do that, you a pretty big a bigger YouTube channel that I believe has over 100,000 or 200,000 subscribers should also be able to do that, even if it is just looking at what people are saying. That small of a thing, it grinds my gears when people talk about things they don't know. It's dumb. It's especially the bigger YouTuber, the bigger, like, you should have a little bit more, you know, knowledge on these things. Not like you need to know everything, but at the very least, if you're going to look into it even a little bit. God damn it. I just wanted to get that into the video. But anyway, let's talk about the character of this video, which is Jibanyan, or Jibanyan, I don't know, which is basically the mascot, the Pikachu of the Yokai Watch franchise. Will he, cousin it, I don't know, be DLC? Personally, I think that ship is sailed. Looking at Yokai Watch, it's another character that suffers a lot from the transition between games. Much like a lot of level 5 characters actually go through this. Very much like Professor Layton, yeah, and Phoenix Wright for Smash 4, Jibanyan is it for Smash Ultimate, where during the previous game's hype cycle and talked about, and even base game for the new roster, it would have made sense to talk about them. A character that would make sense to be a part of the game, that everybody's like, oh, makes perfect sense. It's a big franchise, there's a lot of representation on Nintendo systems. It's very much associated with Nintendo, so it probably could be it. It's a good fit. The problem is, between the launches of Smash games and before Ultimate came out, Yokai Watches basically dropped a lot. Not just Yokai Watch, basically the entirety of level 5 has dropped a lot, and Yokai Watch, for example, Yokai Watch 4 went from like a million seller in Yokai Watch 3 to Yokai Watch 4 launching on the Switch, doing 250,000, over 250,000 in Japan, which is a great number, don't get me wrong, but it's a huge drop. And then the port that came out for PS4 and Switch, the Yokai Watch Plus Plus, that just came out like 2 weeks ago, sold 10,000 units for Switch in its launch week. I believe the highest number it could have done for the PlayStation 4 version was 2,840 something or something like that, or 1,800 something. I think it was 2,000, almost 3,000, which was a bad number. And then second week it maintained 10,000 for the Switch, while it still didn't show any improvements or notable or known improvements on the PS4 in Japan, which was funny because, you know, it was one of those things of like, you see a lot of the times in discussion about Japanese games to come to the PlayStation 4 to improve their standing, let's put it like, to expand their audience. And when asked why the third parties in Japan don't do that for the Switch, it's always with, but the West, because apparently the Switch doesn't do well in the West. And then Yokai Watch, although a shadow of its former self, still didn't do all too well on the PS4, but Jibanyan very much feels like it's gone past its time. Character that there was a very high possibility for Smash 4's DLC, and even for Smash 5's base roster, when we call it Smash 5, when people started talking about Smash 5 or Ultimate, when the DLC for 4 was done, when the Switch was announced, when Jibanyan would come up as a character that felt right, like a character that could be it. It would be very much a Japanese pleasing character, probably the biggest character they could be. But right now, it feels very much like, would we get anything from level 5? They're very much a dying brand, I feel like. We have seen more and more in Japan, their games keep getting delayed and delayed and delayed. They come out and they don't really do much of an impact. I believe also in the West they're not doing all too well from what I remember. Going with the PlayStation 4 to release Yokai Watch 4, although outside of the Switch first release, and then the Switch plus also release side by side, multi-platform release. Seems like it may have injured a little bit of the possibility of the game coming to the West. It depends on how the deal was stricken, because in the West normally is Nintendo that publishes it, unless they find a developer or a publisher willing to publish and localize the game. I don't think we're going to see Yokai Watch 4 coming to the West anytime soon. There's also the fact that most of their games are not doing too well. It feels very much like Level 5 might be going on its last legs, and although the last legs could mean 2 months to 10 years, because companies can go live a little bit. The problem is we have to wait and see, and it's gonna be a weird one for Yokai Watch. Will it be it? Will it not be it? For DLC for Smash Ultimate, no, I don't think we're gonna see as a playable character. We could see a Mii costume, but I doubt it, basically how level 5 is doing, unless we get a big level 5, I don't think DLC character, but like a big level 5 spirit patch where we get spirit events and maybe even Mii costumes. I don't know, it's a weird one. I don't think it's likely, but it could, but I don't think it will happen. That's basically it. And but for next game, if level 5 ends up being bought out by, I don't know, Nintendo or something, or Nintendo buys like the IP or something, it could happen. But anyway, let's get on to the comments. This week we actually have a lot to go through. I don't know. I'm gonna stop before the Switch presentation or the Switch predictions for 2020. I'm just gonna go over at least 4 comments from last week, all from 4 different videos, and one that I don't remember if I talked about or not from last week's episode or on last week's episode. So first we talk about that one that I don't remember, and it comes from Kid Gamer on the King Boo episode, saying that he really want, I really want him, please Sakurai, come on. Just to say that I think King Boo's possibilities depend very much on DLC of what second season will be. If second season is just third parties and no way in hell, but if it includes first parties, it has a high possibility. I mean, we have Piranha Plant, so, and we just mentioned getting its own rep would be cool to see. Then we begin by talking about in the Assassin's Creed episode with Terry Servenson saying, I'm starting to think Cosmos will be Challenger Pack 5 and Sora could be one of the additional DLC fighters after the Fighters Pass. Also, you're wrong about there not being any Colosseums in Fire Emblem. There were some Fire Emblem games with Colosseum areas. In regards to Assassin's Creed, I could see an assassin getting in a costume or spirits. In regards to Jibanyan, I think he'll either be in as a meat brawler costume, spirit, or not getting at all. So let's go over a few things. Cosmos, I also feel like right now, character 5 is Cosmos, and DLC character 1, DLC season 2 character 1 will be Gino, because they very much feel like the characters like I said in my predictions for the Game Awards, I don't think they would be the characters you bring in to the Game Awards. Either or, you bring them in with somebody else, because although they might be known to the Nintendo fandom, it's very unlikely they will be very much more known outside of it. And to an audience like the Game Awards audience, you need to bring in somebody they would recognize. I mean, you saw how the audience at attendance reacted to Bravely Default 2, which was basically the large, I would assume, the large reaction to people watching at home. It basically got the same reaction from me. It was like, okay, that's a thing, I guess. And a lot of people were the crowd was basically dead for that announcement. Although I know a lot of people got hyped, but I would have a feeling that a lot more people weren't. Then for Sora, there's a lot of, I don't think Sora will be DLC. If Sora ever gets into Smash Bros, I don't think she'll be DLC, because there's, or he, I keep calling it a she, he will be as DLC because there's a lot of things we need to consider into what could be. I think it could possibly legitimately could happen. I'm not, I shouldn't say 100% it won't be DLC. I think for DLC has a very less chance not thinking about it, because we have to look at things into a lot of different perspectives. First, would Nintendo want to do it? Would, just because it's a popular character does not mean Sakurai will be like, oh yes, Sora should absolutely be it. If Sora was that type of character, you would assume it already would have been it or in, because it would go with, negotiations will go down with Disney, not Square, so it would legitimately be easier, let's put it that way. They wouldn't interfere with Dragon Quest being in their fears of Dragon Quest. We also know that although the negotiations are done with Disney, Nomura also has to go ahead and say yes or no, and I believe he would be working on the behalf of Square. I could be wrong on that. But I know he had to be a part of it, like he still would be the thing to go. And I also remember like Square also had some type of saying in it. I don't remember how much saying exactly they would have it, but I wouldn't say it would matter much. But then you have to also take into consideration a lot of things. Even if Nintendo wants it, we have to also then like, does Disney want? If Disney wants it, would they be okay with their character being locked to the eShop? And we don't know how the next game is going to work out, but would they be okay with Sora being locked to the eShop, not being a part of the base roster and the retail audience? Not only that, would they be okay with being a part of the second season? And depending on where a character coming out 2 years after the launch of the game, we know DLC sells better closer to the release than later on. How much of a stake would they want? How much payment would they want from the character? How much budget there is for the DLCs? That's also part of it, and the licensing most likely will be a big part of that budget. Would Disney even approve of an amiibo for Sora? There's a lot of things that could go in, and I think that if it was to happen, probably next game, but when it comes to it, I just want a confirmation one way or another, just so that the debate can be over, to be honest. But unlike the Ridley side, the Ridley debate, where I was happy when we got a definitive answer for in Smash 4, although that answer was given, people still went ahead and both sides were still obnoxious. And no matter what side won, both sides were going to be were obnoxious when they won. Sora, I'll be just happy with a confirmation that he won't be in just because of the fan base being annoying as crap the last few months. Specifically some members of the community and other stuff. But if they got in, they'll be obnoxious for a little bit. But with the advent of them losing, I don't think there would be any real sides that would any other side, the anti-it, that would be against it. I feel like they would be against it. I don't think that there will be too much obnoxiousness like there was with Ridley. Then with Cosmos, I'll get to it in a little bit. Another thing that I already noticed that is in another comment, so we'll talk about it in a little bit. I think I meant about the Colosseum. I meant the Colosseum like the one in Smash, because I'm pretty sure that's not a thing in in Fire Emblem. There might be Colosseums, but none of them look like it. I think I remember that correct. I think that's what I meant. If I didn't, I'm an idiot, and I probably misspoke. I speak a lot. Then for Assassin, yeah, I mean, but it all depends on what they want to do with Fighter from Ubisoft, and Sakurai himself probably will think Rayman first before the other two. Maybe we have to wait and see. But the costume, I think, if Rayman gets in, it's probably as a guaranteed one. Spirit could be it, even if Rayman comes in and they just don't do Mii costumes. They don't do Mii costume, they could actually do it. Then Kaeto Ichiu, I apologize if I butchered that. Just got recommended this. I hope your channel blows up. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Kaeto, and I'm just gonna, because it inflated my ego, I'm gonna leave it a heart and a like, just because it inflated my ego. Thank you very much. And then Sharon Loy, and this is what this comment that I was looking in, I saw a little bit, and I didn't want to talk about. It also regards to Cosmos. It's an HD mod of Cosmos has been copyright claimed by Nintendo themselves. This is the type of things that very much feel like it's a confirmation. Unlike, for example, they didn't do this to the Doom and Mallow Mii costume leak. The the sea demon, I forget the name of the big head demon. There was two Mii costumes that leaked. Nintendo never copyright struck it, and people were thinking like, this is a damn if you do, damn if you don't for Nintendo, because it's a leak. But if they take it down, they confirm it. If they don't take it down, they don't confirm it. But at the same time, the taking down confirms it no matter what. Even if this is fake, it would confirm that those two would be in the game. So it could be very likely of would just step aside and not do it. With Cosmos, I think it's very much like the Mii costume for Sans being basically confirmed. Not basically confirmed, but the Megalovania coming to Smash was soft confirmed by the content ID strike, or the copyright strike by Nintendo, the copyright claim, not strike, that Nintendo did before. And the same thing with the things for Geno, the two songs from Super Mario RPG, maybe softly confirming that we might see it coming, Geno coming as DLC, or songs coming as to DLC as Smash. For Smash, watch it being for Mallow and Geno costume. The people will be livid. But, I'm not, it's a possibility, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. But still, and with them content ID or copyright striking or claiming the HD mod, which I had seen, it's like very much of like, yeah, Cosmos is going to be 5. I think even if she's not character 5, she will be a DLC character. And I even thought about like a cool trailer that we could see for her. The problem is, the trailer wouldn't work very well as it would be a clear-cut Smash DLC, but at the same time it has to be for two characters, and would have been Rex opening a crystal from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Cosmos comes out, and instead of like following him and going with his commands, she just breaks free and starts fighting him, which would be lovely to see. Very cool, in my opinion, to see. But then we would need a Rex confirmation. If that happened and there was no Rex confirmation, that would be sad. People would be upset. I would be personally offended. I wouldn't be offended, but I would feel personally attacked because I've been defending the possibility of him. Jeez, why do I keep calling guy characters girls? I wanted him. I want him to be a DLC character or a fighter. eventually in Smash, and that would be very much like playing with the fan base. And I don't think Sakurai is that evil. The man might be trolly, not as trolly as people say he is, but I don't think he would be that evil to the fan base. But it'll be very interesting, to say the least, to see it. And finally, this Guardius 2012 saying Kazumi should be in Super Smash or Smash Ultimate with Lauren Lauda reprising the role. Of course, not much to say to that. I don't know who Lauren is, but if she is, I believe, I don't know how exactly the voice acting works, because I've heard people say like unions don't allow union actors to play roles and play in games that are not a part of a union, that don't have a unionized roster, which completely clashes with Smash Ultimate, because no matter what, I've seen people say that Nintendo chipping out on the voiceover or voice acting for Smash, which is not exactly true given the fact that most voices are just grunts. And Cynic, unionized or not, we can get great voice acting. I think like Ultimate Three Houses is not union, and it's a great voice acting. Just because some games have good voice acting and others, it's not the union that makes it professional. And I don't think it would ever work out for a Smash game because of one specific character, Mario. Charles Martinet, I was trying to remember his name, is not union. Is not union. So if he's not union and he is a part of the game, how could you then take out another person? Or how would you take him out? He's the voice of Mario. You cannot exactly take him out. But anyway, that'll be it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. In the comments what you think of the character of this episode, Jibanyan, how likely they are, it is, he is, she is, I don't know, of betting in Smash, in your opinion. And for next episode, the last episode before the revision of everyone and the true finale, the last episode of the year, and most likely the final video of the decade even for this channel, because we're ending the decade. So it will be just a rare fest, because we're gonna go look at Battletoads, Joan in the Dark, and Killer Instinct, which honestly should have all gotten episodes separately earlier on. But I think meshing them all together next episode will be fun. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I've been the Wedge of the S. See you guys next time.